Welcome.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Katie.
thanks for having me on. Very happy to be here.
Yeah, we are, talking to friends of the show and listeners of the show for this anniversary special. And you played such an important part in the overseas connection, for me anyways. And then we just spoke with Hazel and we realized how big that contingency actually became. Which is great. Everybody wants a built-in circle of friends when they move. But I had found you prior to moving to London.
That's
So
right.
I used to feature a website of the week, and it could have been from anywhere. We weren't limited to the States we were looking all over the place. And I found yours, and I remember thinking, this is the greatest thing ever, because every event that was coming up that month was plugged into that calendar, like where it was, what time, what date. And, and it was constantly being updated all the time. And it was just the most fantastic resource. I couldn't wait to feature it. And what I always did was try and contact the website people and let them know they were going to be featured. And I don't remember if I ended up saying that I was going to be moving to London or not. I might have just reached out about the website at that point. I can't remember. But you guys were so so excited about it, about being on this show. And the greatest thing to come of it was then our friendship. Like once I actually got here and got to meet you and see what you were doing, you were so involved in the community. It was so inspiring, and it was like having like I said, like a built-in circle right there, just waiting to jump into. It was fantastic. So grateful for that part of it. And then all the things that we've done since then. I just reminded Donna about your web series
Yeah.
and, you know, getting to do a little voiceover work in that, and how we worked together with writing stuff, and you edited for me, you cat sit for me. I mean, it's just like, it's amazing. So thank you for all of that.
But
Well,
also,
thanks for involving me in all of it. Sorry, Donna, I cut you off there.
no, I wanted to kind of step right back from the very beginning, because the connection was there, but then you became part of what we were doing on the reg. So tell us like that. Like, had you connected with the podcast or the live broadcast prior to the feature?
So I think when Denise reached out to us, we'd only just launched Planet London and didn't know kind of how it was going to land, and just had this vision of, right, we want to get as much information about what's on for women in London, to the front and accessible. And so we were overjoyed to hear from you, because it meant we were getting out there, and you'd Googled something like lesbian in London, and we came up, and that was amazing. And you did say in that very first email, I remember it so clearly, that you are going to be moving to London as well. And so that was really exciting. So there was this instant kind of, I thought of the global connection, and we hadn't heard of you before. I mean, like I said, it was within weeks of us starting as well.
Sure.
But as soon as we did hear from you, we then immediately downloaded loads of podcast episodes, because I was a huge podcast follower even back then, before they became, fashionable. And so we listened to a whole bunch of back episodes and just caught up and got the vibe. And we knew immediately, I was like, well, these people are great. They've
These girls
got the
are
sense
crazy.
of humor. Yeah, they've got a sense of humor that I can really get into, but also the general theme of just uplifting our community, and finding ways to bring people together, and sharing the resources to those women in particular who are very isolated and don't have a lot of in-person local communities. So all of the stuff you were doing, we subscribed to, but equally we loved your sense of humor, and thought, yeah, these are people we want to connect with and have conversations with, and meet you when you did eventually, when you actually moved over.
Yeah, I remember.
What a welcome too.
Yeah, I remember being so excited, because it was like it was like having that Planet London calendar in my pocket with you as a friend, because Katie would be like, "Oh, I'm reading like an excerpt from my poetry or something at this thing in Charing Cross." And then that in turn, like I met Angela Peach, Scott Campbell, like all these people at that one teeny little event, and then I think we did a Polari together, and we might have done a Polari together.
Polari.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
we definitely, I think we're going to, going to a
yeah,
lot of those same events, and
yeah,
or sharing that information across those kind of events and things, and always talking about the writing and the possibilities, and
yeah.
what we enjoyed, and kind of keeping the love of those things alive.
Oh my God, so much so much so. Like when we used to do the little writing groups, like it was such motivation, to keep going, to keep trying, to keep, like throwing things out there and saying, what should I do differently? What could I do? What's working, what's not working, kind of thing. And to have people that you trust their opinion, you trust I trusted your opinion every step of the way, and
Yeah,
you
and
editing,
sharing
helping me
work.
edit. Yeah.
Well, I got to listen to your episodes of All My Girlfriends, for example, and that was like great. This is something that you've done, but you've made it happen, and that's motivation and inspiration to like make my own web series,
Yeah.
because I'm looking at what you can do when you pull together people, different people with
Yeah.
skills who want to just participate and make a project that they believe in together. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it definitely goes both ways, but also like I think both our projects, both your podcast and our website, was similar in terms of being a consistent presence and kind of
Yeah.
that regularity of things, and being reliable, being credible, um, gave us that kind of
Yeah.
platform to then do other things and be received well within the community.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. And you guys were institutional in the Planet London Awards, which was a lot of lesbians in one place at
Yeah.
one time, and it was such a fantastic night. You had Lara King, Cindy was there, it was just full of recognizable faces and people that you maybe heard about but didn't know. And it was a great like mixer, networker, celebration of accomplishments. And it was probably the first award over here that we received, and it was,
Oh,
Definitely.
that's
yeah,
cool.
it just
Yeah, and I
transcended.
think those awards at that level are so important. So like
Yeah,
you have like these bigger, more corporate kind of sponsored
yeah,
LGBTQ awards, but we wanted to do something very different, which was grassroots, really celebrate and acknowledge and give, positive feedback to the women that are on the ground, making things
doing
happen,
the work,
making
doing the
content,
work. Yeah,
doing the work, and
yeah,
often for no, like not for an income generating, not for any money, just for the passion of wanting to do something for the community. So yeah, like we, doing the awards was important, but I think that actual event where people could come together and really say, yes, we do, we have earned this right to
and we feel
pat ourselves on
seen.
the back
Like
and
we
be
feel
seen,
seen. Yeah, that was.
and have a trophy. And I think we asked you to do some kind of audio coverage for us, like some, like we said,
We did,
could
yeah,
you
we
do
did
a,
man on the
you know
street stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
do some live commentary, which was great. And I think that's another cool thing about like our community, but obviously a lot of the people that we've met is bringing together our different skills and experience, and like adding to what other people are doing as
yeah,
well, like
yeah,
enhancing each other's work. And
right.
I think that's a really fantastic additional part that gets overlooked sometimes as well.
Yeah, yeah. It
But
is. It
then
is an important component. Yeah,
But then you took it another level, Katie, and Planet London became part of Elfest, or
Yeah,
became a segment of Elfest. So tell
yeah.
us how that even hatched, and then you all talk about that connection, because that was just amazing.
Yeah, so I mean, like you, Denise had been obviously doing some of the stage stuff at Elfest for some time, and we had heard about it and hadn't connected to it until I think it was the year of 2013, and we had decided we need to do something, or wanted to do something, for people going there who go on their own. So
Yeah.
like creating a really safe space so where you could just turn up at this event with 1,000 other, you know, other women,
Right.
and go, I don't know anyone. How do I figure out, you know, how to make friends, what to do,
Yeah.
you know, and just not feel like intimidated by myself. So we ran this space for, you know, I can't remember what it's called, the solo space or something, and just
Solos,
like
yeah.
created this big space that anyone could come into, and there'd always be a volunteer there to chat to them, talk to them about the festival, ran like mixer games, made friends. And then Denise was running the cinema, you know, at similar times. So we would kind of make sure people were going over to watch the films, and just, you know, it sort of helped enable that connection between all of the people there. So no one would be kind of standing around on their own going, I don't know who to talk to. And
Or feel awkward. Yeah, they
or
never
feel
felt
awkward.
awkward.
Yeah.
That was so fantastic. It
Yeah.
was it was just like a big warm hug, you know, for people that were just wandering around like and then I think too the cool thing was that it was a great mix because I think that might have been the year that we brought Kristen from Tello, or
Yeah.
I think that was the
maybe
year after that. The first year was the year Donna was there, right?
I was there for that
oh
one, the rainy
yes,
Yeah.
one.
yeah,
And then
Um,
we did the
yeah,
same thing the year after, and Kristen from Tello came, you know, and like we were able to work with all of our connections and just like link the things
yeah,
together, so that people coming from abroad could also have a space to hang out and get to know people, and, you know, do
yeah.
signings, or, you know, meet their audience as well, which was really nice.
it was a lot of fun because it was also
Yeah.
some place to
And
be inside,
it
which
was so
we had a
layered.
lot of rain. So
Yeah.
we got to be
Yes.
inside.
Yeah. But
Vital
we
at
that
any UK
yeah,
event.
yes, exactly. And we had um the Burtons on to talk about Eek, and we had, you know, some of the other band members on the show to talk
Absolutely.
about what they were doing. We had Cindy calling in all the time. And year after year after year, all those friendships, you know, kept growing. There were, you know, just like the year that Donna came and Cece came up and introduced herself, right? And just said, "Oh
Yeah.
my God, I
Well,
love you guys. I listen to you guys." And then texted me like maybe the following year and just said, "I don't know if you remember me, but I have a friend in that just moved to St. Pete, Florida, and I was wondering if you had any friends over there that might be willing to show her around, introduce her to the community and whatnot." And I called on my friend Erica and I said, "Look, this is going to sound really weird, but a friend of mine is very concerned because her friend just moved to St. Pete and doesn't know anybody. Would you be willing?" And they're fucking married. They're
Yeah.
married now.
Yeah.
This is like
Crazy.
their 10th anniversary.
Yeah. Yeah.
that's amazing. But yeah, there's that kind of sense of like Cece came to us when we said we were going to run the solo space, and was like, oh, this, you know, radio show I listened to are going to be there, like, and I was like, oh yeah, no, it's great, we already know them, we're connected, we're gonna
Oh my
like
God.
make sure. So yeah, people were like encouraging us to also get together and work together,
Yeah.
who kind of knew of both of us separately, which was really nice, and kind
Yeah.
of just made it even more important, I think, to
Yeah. It's a
yeah.
really lovely the Elfest community is a very lovely community because, you know, whether they are doing it consistently, whether they take a break, whether they throw in a festival, Christmas festival, or, you know, come back with a one-off kind of thing after dying down, the same people still show up, and there's just always a friendly face that you recognize, whether you've gone consistently or just went, let's revisit it for a weekend. You know, they're doing something this weekend and you show up. Someone's always there that you know. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I think there's something really great about like the work we put in those early years has created that. And so
Yeah.
when you go to you know, a reunion festival, or like when we used to do the events in Planet London, like, you know, you could turn up on your own and you were likely to know 5 or 6 people there
Yeah.
already. You didn't have to
Right.
kind of go corral a group of people to go. You could just turn up and
Yeah.
you'd start to see familiar faces. And I
Yeah.
think that speaks to, again, what we talked about, the grassroots sense of the vibe. You know, it's not, we're part of making the magic of those events and those communities happen. Everyone is. And so we all can feel that ownership of it, and we can all feel part of it. It's not kind of this thing that's happening over there that we, you know, might, sometimes you can feel excluded from those things, you know, or awkward, but
yeah,
they create spaces where, yeah, you can just turn up and know you're going to know 5 or 10 friendly faces there, and just
100%.
people will welcome you.
Because when you think about the timeline, Katie, and when you think about the timeline, yes, there was Facebook, and you know, I think probably Twitter was still kind of acceptable.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the social hub. Like, you didn't connect there to see what else was going on. So you didn't know you were going to arrive at an event, a space, a reading, whatever, and already know people. I mean, you did know in advance. That's what I meant to say. So you all were ahead of your time too, providing, good information, safe information. I think safety is the word that keeps coming up, Denise, with most of our
Yeah,
conversations, like
100%.
having a
Yeah.
safe space, and
It's a very common thread right now.
there
Yeah.
being nothing like it at all. So, kudos for that as well. Um, and then your relationship has really developed. I know we've talked about the friendship part of it, but honestly, the writing together, the working together, it's just been so like symbiotic, like it's a good complementary relationship.
Yeah,
And
Katie knows us, inside out. So like she she's like drop a text and be like, "Hey, you want to go see a play?" Like my friend Tan's doing the stage manager. You want to go see a play? Yeah. Yes. So yeah, or I'm doing a reading, especially when Gemma used to work in London, because then she could pop over to what you were doing,
Yeah.
and go be supportive like that. So and then you pulled her into softball. So that
Yeah,
was
then she came along to
yeah.
softball.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's like, just, I'm just going to come over for a cup of tea as well and have a
Pop
catch
into a
up
couple.
on the gossip as well. But I think
Yeah.
it's been nice. It's been really nice over the years that like our different interests and like different projects, we've been, we like are keeping up to date with them, but also, yeah, we can pull on each other. Like when I did the Enchante podcast, like it was a no-brainer to come to you and say, can I put that on your channel, and have you got any advice and sort of thoughts for us to
100%.
push that out, when
Yeah.
when I released my book last year, obviously you were really kind and had me on the Rainbow Remix.
Right.
And it's just
Yeah.
like knowing we can absolutely depend on supporting that support and supporting each other, and whatever
Yeah. Yes.
platforms we've got available to us. It's an absolute given
Yeah.
that support will take place. Yeah, and like pulling you along to my Raiders like parties and
Yeah. I mean, even that little tiny backyard pride party a couple of Junes ago with, you and Stuart and Ruben and Hazel, and, just such a lovely group of people all the time. Like, I can't
nice.
say that there are very many people that I haven't liked, that I've met through you, or, were a part of something like that. It's just really good people, so supportive all the time.
I think that's like, as we get older and like we're not out on the scene so much, it's a different level of connection, isn't it? And it's like, yeah, who are the people that we know that would be cool in someone's back garden now?
Yes. Yeah.
Like that's sort of
Yeah.
the benchmark, and that's a shift. As we get older, but post COVID as well, the world has changed, and our community.
Yeah. I mean, look, let's talk about the most recent connect. If it weren't for you, we wouldn't have sold our house and bought this place, because and they were part of the softball circle.
Yeah.
They were part of the softball circle. So Katie knew them forever. So we just instantly put our trust in them. Like,
and then there was games night.
Games night was the best. Yeah.
So they're also part of a group of friends that I do games night with, and Denise and Gemma and Hazel were like, oh, maybe we could
We'll host. We got a new
we'll
house. We got
host and
space.
join in,
Yeah.
and
Immense
honorary
space.
members
Yeah.
of game nights now. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's how, like, as we get older and definitely in a changed world, how I think community operates now is we have all these amazing people in our community doing incredible things, and
Yeah.
like softball for me has been another one of those, as well as Planet London, and as well as things like your podcast and radio show has built community. And now we're like, great, let's keep, how are we sustaining
Yeah.
these important relationships and still continuing to lift each other up. And I think the bringing together the right people, someone who needs something and someone who's got the expertise is a really nice way to move that forward.
I
Definitely.
think this is
Definitely.
perfect time to kind of segue into what is coming up and what is new, and what you have invited Denise and I to be a part of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my best friend and I, who you now have both met, and Denise have met before, Tan, are in the midst of starting, almost ready to launch a new podcast called Queer as Friends. And really, we wanted to do some of the things we've talked about, which is celebrate the joy and the insights, and the differences and similarities of queer friendship, and the brilliance that it brings into the world, and make that kind of available to everyone, for half an hour at a time, to kind of shine a light on the importance of these, or the value of these really important friendships, and why we need them, and why we still need them in a world that wants to discriminate against us, in particular, and how we can uplift and support and elevate each other. And it was, when we started to write our kind of interview wish list, for me, you two were, very near the top of people to ask, because I just thought you've got all of this, like your friendship has got all of these additional elements to it, in terms of you've collaborated and done so much together, for yourselves as friends, but also for the whole community. And you're, hilarious, and great, characters. And I said to Tan, and she agreed with me, I said to her before, that I think of all the pairs, like, you two are the most similar to us and our dynamic, in terms of like length of friendship, and the things you were talking about, which I'm not going to give away too much about, but how your friendship evolved, and like even how it started and how it evolved, and thinking about things about the looks and the non-verbal communication. And I said to Tan, I think they're going to be the most that resonate with us. And afterwards we were like, oh yeah, there was so much there where we wanted to jump in and say, oh yeah, us too, but we wanted to just be mindful and let you have the floor. But there was so much of your friendship and your dynamic that we really, really resonated with. And that's the point of the podcast, is you're going to hear all these conversations, and some of it will really resonate, and some of it will be so different, but hopefully really interesting. And we can all, take that moment just to reflect on why these particular relationships, aside from romantic relationships or, blood family relationships, why friendships are some of the most important relationships we'll ever have.
Yeah, platonic friendships, platonic love. It's fantastic, and it should be celebrated. And what I wanted to ask you too, Katie, was this tied into, like, you just got your doctor title?
Yes,
yes, Dr. Katie.
I'm Dr. Katie. Yes.
But didn't you do like a bit of a study on queer friendships too?
Yes,
So
exactly. So this
was
is like
definitely the next step,
it's a next step. So
Wow.
I wrote a lot. Yeah. So my PhD is a big focus on my own experiences of friendship, and writing about queer friendship from my personal experience in a kind of memoir format, and playing with what memoir can be, and just completely breaking it down and taking it apart. But I sort of thought, if I'm going to do something else with it, I think I wanted it to be much bigger than me. And one of the things I really thought about in just talking about the PhD over the years is that everyone potentially has these really interesting, important friendships. And how do we create a space for a conversation about that? And so then I thought about the podcast being a really nice platform for that, because it's a talking format. And I was like, great, I'm gonna maybe talk to people about friendship. And I was like, no, I'm gonna talk to pairs of friends about friendship. And then I was like, no, I'm gonna bring Tan in, and we're gonna talk to pairs of friends about friendship. And
That's
Yeah.
so
the
cool.
idea
Yeah.
grew. But yeah, it's absolutely an extension from my PhD and what I uncovered about myself in that, and hoping to kind of bring that to other people and also share, what we can learn from that with hopefully a very wide audience.
And before we let you
are-
go, tell our listening public, watching public, the name of your book and how they can get that.
Please.
So my novel came out
Yeah.
last year, and Denise said you very kindly had me on Rainbow Remix. It's called To Autumn. It's available as an ebook, as a paperback, and a audiobook through Amazon and through some local independent bookshops in the UK. And I think you can also order it through most large bookstores. They'll do an order for you as well, and direct from my publishers, Affinity Rainbow Press. So yeah, please, if you like coming of age stories, there's a lot of friendship stuff in there. It's set in the late 90s. There's a lot of nostalgia.
Banging soundtrack,
well.
banging playlist.
Yeah, it's a lot of music references and
wow. All right, I'm
stuff.
in.
So
I'm in.
yeah,
I'm
thank
in
you.
for sure.
Thank you,
Katie. We're so appreciative that you could take the time to be with us today, and always within the finer inner circle of Denise and Gemma and your shared experiences and shared friends. We're so glad to have connected at all, and
Likewise.
look forward to hearing and reading more of all of you.
Thank you. And here's to a big future for all of us, because I feel like your anniversary special is gonna maybe lead into something, perhaps. Who knows? So also just look forward to continuing to talk about all the opportunities ahead of us as well.